attend curriculum night, you can watch this video, or if you do attend, you can still watch this to get the information second time and just kind of see the visuals again. So again, I'm Mr. Kurt. First off, to contact me, you can email me. That's the most effective way, the best way for me to get back to you. My email is right there, kurta@woodridge68.org. I'll respond pretty quickly, usually by the end of the next school day, but probably faster than that. It just kind of depends on how things are going, but I'll get back to you. As far as me, over summer, I had a ton of fun with my family, my wife and my kids. We did a lot of great things. We went to the beach. We went swimming at the Park District pool, a whole bunch. Lots of reading, lots of outdoor activities, lots of fun. Easton is 18 months. Evelyn is 3 years old, and Evie really likes being a big sister, even though sometimes she gets a little frustrated and starts hitting her brother, but we're working on that. I did some projects this summer. We did move into a new place in the same town we used to live, and there's just more projects to do now that we've moved into a new place. I replaced floors in all the bedrooms, took out carpet, put in some vinyl plank flooring. And then we did a pantry here. This used to be like a desk with a couple of cabinets around it. So I tore that out. I used to have an intercom system, tore that out. We didn't need that. Put in a new outlet, re-drywalled it all, put wallpaper on, put up shelves, and did all this. So that was a kind of a big project for the summer, but that was a fun time. And that's one of the things I really enjoy doing is just projects, building things, making stuff. Also really into coffee, video games, and photography. A couple of things now. Let's focus on math class. A couple of things that I very frequently have parents and students ask questions on. What materials do we need? A binder, a notebook, a pencil, and your Chromebook. A calculator is not required, but if a student or parent or family group want to have a calculator, that's great. I think it helps with the math learning process. I would recommend it, but it's not required. I would recommend getting the TI-84 Plus CE Edition calculator. It can be recharged with a USB cable. You don't have to worry about batteries. It's smaller than the other ones. And it can be used all the way through college. It can be used on the ACT. And sometimes it's nice for students to get used to a calculator. But again, it's not required. I am going to be using more of an online calculator on the Chromebooks this year, and that's been communicated to me from the high school as well. They are planning to use more Desmos on Chromebooks rather than require this individual calculator. Again, that being said, I like to have a calculator like this. I like to use this when I'm doing math, and I think a lot of students appreciate it as well, but it's not required. If you have questions on that, let me know. I am available for assistance pretty often. Students sometimes just email me questions and I can help out that way. But if students really want to come in before school, they can. I just request that they let me know ahead of time. Don't just show up in the morning, even though I'm usually here by 7:40, 7:45. Just let me know to say, hey, can I come in the morning to get some help on this? And I'll be prepared for a student to come in. Wednesdays, we typically have morning meetings, so I can't usually meet on Wednesdays. But any other day, just let me know and I can help you out in the morning. I also am available fourth period and fifth period lunch. If students want to come in for fourth or fifth lunch, I can help out during that time. The math resources that we use IXL. It is a online program where students are trying questions that it provides to them within a specific skill. They enter in their answer and it tells them if they are correct, or if not, it shows them the correct way to do it. It is the best way to practice math. It's not like a worksheet where you don't know if you're right or not until the next day. You get immediate feedback. You know if you're doing it right or if you know if you're doing it wrong. And then we can go based on that. If there are mistakes from there, I can help out students. It is amazing for math practice. I can't think of a better way for a student to get reps in the practice of the math skills that they have to do. We use iReady for benchmarks and very rarely lessons at this level of math. We'll do some lessons throughout the year, but it's mostly for benchmarks and assessment in the classroom. And then Desmos, I mentioned that before. There's a calculator for Desmos, but there's also activities that you can do in Desmos that kind of help model math digitally and get students to understand more graphical representations of math. For homework, I do assign homework daily, very rare on Fridays. I'm not going to say that there won't ever be homework on Fridays, but most of the time I'm not assigning homework on Fridays. I want students to enjoy their weekend, but Monday through Thursday there will be homework. I have a week at a glance. I'll show you an example of that in a second. That's updated every week with what we're doing throughout the week, along with the homework on every day that students should be working on. IXL is the majority of that homework where they do that practice, they get that feedback, and I'm expecting 85 for the SMART score for a student to be done with their IXL homework. If students are stuck on IXL, I have a whole process for that. What should you do if you can't get to that 85? And I'll show you that in the next slide. It's a kind of little flow of what you would do if you can't get to 85. I like when students email me and they have questions on IXL. I can usually help out pretty quickly, but if they need to see me in person, they can do that as well. So here's the flow chart. First off, I'm going to assign an IXL skill. Well, one option is a student gets the IXL skill to 85 SMART score before the next day, before its due date. They're done. They get 3 out of 3 points. You don't have to email me. You don't have to let me know it's done. I will see that it's done on the computer. Alternatively, a student might struggle to hit that 85 and they might not be able to get there because they're stuck, they're not sure, they have a mistake, they have a misconception. Well, then I'm going to ask that students write down 5 questions with the work they tried along with the correct answer, because when they submit it, it'll tell them what the correct answer is if they were wrong. And as long as they do that, write down 5 questions and practice for 20 minutes, they'll get 2 out of 3 points. Because at least you're practicing and identifying, well, I don't quite know what to do, that way I can help you. If you then go over the questions with me, revisit the skill later and get it to 85, students will get the 3 out of 3 points after emailing me a screenshot showing me, hey, I've now done it to 85, because I still want students to be successful in that skill and understand what they had missed before. So it is possible to not do the homework to 85 on any given night, but still get full credit later. However, if you just don't do the work and the day that IXL is assigned, you don't do it, well, the highest score you can possibly get is 2 out of 3 points. If you at a later date submit an email with a screenshot at 85 SMART score, you can then get 2 out of 3 points. So I hope that flow chart kind of helps. That's the process I've been using for the last 8 years of using IXL, and it works pretty well. I want to encourage students to practice, not get overly frustrated and break down. I can't get finished to 85. Okay, you're done 20 minutes. Stop. Ask for help and finish it later. That's really been the best process I've found so far. Here's a sample week at a glance. I mentioned that before. It has the topic we're covering throughout the week along with the homework below it. That homework assignment, let's just say for example, this was one of the week at a glances for this week. It says 7L2. That's assigned on Monday. It is expected to be done by class on Tuesday. So when students come into class, 7L2, that IXL skill, should be to 85 SMART score. Or the 5 questions written down and it was practiced for 20 minutes. So there's, again, the sample week at a glance. That's updated every week. Parents, guardians, students, everyone has access to that week at a glance. You can see that update all throughout the year. We have lots of different topics we cover. 750 math goes over all of these topics on the screen. 850 math goes over these topics on the screen. And 875 goes over all of these topics. 875 does cover 2 years of math within 1 year. There's a process to be in that class. Speak to me if you have questions on that. Grades, I will be entering grades weekly, if not most days, as we have those IXL skills pretty much daily. Accountability grades, that's homework, in-class work, non-summative or project grades. Summatives and projects, RWEs, those are the major scores that go in the grade book. Things like unit assessments, projects, habits of minds, those will be entered. Usually 2 a month, I would say, but accountability grades usually once a day, but definitely 3 times a week. I'll be getting in those grades. So please check that frequently with your student. You can see what work they've completed or if they're missing work. And with that, if there's questions, please let me know. You can email me. Those who will be attending Curriculum Night in person can ask me questions there. And last little thing that I have, I know that Sometimes parents, sometimes students get frustrated with IXL. Why do we have to do this? It's so difficult. We got to get to 85. It is, like I said, the best way to practice. It's so effective at getting students to understand those math skills, and I see a very strong correlation between the time spent on IXL and understanding and overall scores. So the more time that students have spent, the higher their understanding typically is. That's what I have here. This is anonymized data I have from some of my classes last year. And then also when I see students missing work, they haven't done that homework, I do see a pretty big correlation between misunderstandings then and not doing as well when they're missing those IXL assignments. So that's kind of expected. Hey, you're not doing the work, you're not going to get the understanding. I just like to share that data. I think it's pretty clear. Do your work and you'll have the understanding. So